Hello, everyone, and welcome to WCS Blitz. Today, we're covering all of the quarterfinals to the finals and the consolation matches, so there's a lot of WCS to catch up on. I am Chris Messer, and my co-host, as always, is Daniel T. And today, we're going to hop right into those results because there's just so much StarCraft to cover. So let's pull them up. I'm going to start by going over the quarterfinals really quickly. So the first matchup of the night, Hero against Alicia, a PvP. Just a solid 3-1 there by Hero. The games themselves weren't too insane. It was Hero just showing his great control and the fact that he's just a little bit better than Alicia at PvP there. Second series of the night, Moonglade versus Ryung. Don't let the 3-0 fool you. Moonglade actually played really, really well. It's just that Ryung was able to edge him out in those 3 games, but still well played by Moonglade there. The third series of the night was Crank versus Alive. Alive definitely showing his dominant TVP. He's known for that matchup, and he showed why today. And Revival versus Snoot to wrap things up, 3-1 going in favor of Revival. A very close series, actually. Snoot playing some great ZVZ. Revival able to edge him out 3-1. And Dan, what happened in the semis?
Well, in the semis, we had Hero facing off versus Ryung. It was a really closely fought match, as you can tell. It was a 3-2. It was definitely one of the top matches of the night. And then we had Live and Revival going at each other. Revival, I think there was probably a little bit of the underdog and managed to pull that one out. And we'll definitely touch on that series a little bit later in the future. So we had Hero and Revival passing on to the finals.
That's right, and in the finals, we did have Revival versus Hero. Revival getting a quick 2-0 on Hero, and Hero known to be a very emotional player, so it looked like it was taking a toll on him. But then for the next 4 games, we saw some incredibly solid play. Revival throwing everything he could at Hero, and he just wasn't having any of it. So able to actually take that series 4-2, and in the end, it was a very convincing fashion. So great performance from Hero. He will be our WCS AM champion. And what happened to the placements, Dan? Because those were also pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. We had Alicia versus Moonglade starting it off. It was a very close. I think Moonglade started off with a 2-0 there. Or no, I'm not quite sure.
No,
but I know that Alicia was behind and managed to come back.
It was
to beat him. Then you had Crank go against Snoot. Crank taking taking the 3-0 loss, which is kind of surprising because Crank was definitely one of the top players from this entire WCS NA set. Yes. And then we finished off with a fantastic match between Alicia and Snoot. It was the incredibly long, enjoyable, action-filled games. And we will once again be touching on that series a little bit later on.
Definitely. And one other note I want to make, Moonglade's play today overall and in the Alicia versus, Moonglade matchup, Moonglade got that 2-0 lead, and it was awesome the way he did it. He played great mind games. Particularly what stands out is getting Hydra range upgrade while still teching to Mutilus. So he actually made a few Hydralists, showed the upgrade to Alicia, who probably noticed it because, of course, he's Alicia, and responded appropriately, but then Moonglade tech switched to Mutilus a lot quicker than expected. And he was taking games like that and was like, wow, Moonglade really has a good grip on this, but Alicia able to edge him out 3 games in a row. Moonglade got to be hurting about that, but still very well played. And with that, let's move into our categories for tonight. All right, and first up is going to be our biggest yawner of the night because there were so many matches. There has to be one that you got to skip. And Dan, what was that tonight?
It was definitely Alive versus Crank. Alive just steamrolled over Crank. Crank had I don't know what happened to Crank that in that series, but he just got totally outplayed. It was a 3-0, and I mean it was a 3-0. It wasn't even like a 3-0 with Ryung versus Moonglade. It was just a straight up sad frowny face that I am drawing right now.
Sad frowny face all over that match. The thing is, Crank is not known for his PvT skills, and Alive is known for it. So when you combine those two things together, there's just such a landslide effect. Alive showing he's just so much better at that particular matchup. Crank is a very good player, but PvP rather, known to be his weakest. So that was definitely yeah, a clinic that Alive put on there. And let's move on to our next category. All right, so for our biggest upset of tonight, we're gonna have to give it to Dan.
It's gonna have to be a Revival versus Alive.
It was so upsetting you couldn't even say it. That's how
Yeah.
upsetting it was.
It's very hard to say exactly that these are that big upsets because all these guys are all fantastic players, but I think just looking at those two players, I think most people would have picked Alive to come out of that one ahead.
Yeah, Alive's just been doing so well in Pro League, and he was obviously so strong in Wings of Liberty. But we saw in an interview that he doesn't feel like he's at his Wings of Liberty shape yet. And, maybe that was part of the reason why Revival was able to take him. Their teammates, they probably practice a lot, and Revival maybe just had a better grip on, what his teammate was doing and was able to kind of outmuscle him here to a 3-1. Even if Revival took that, I would have expected a 3-2. So Revival taking that in a pretty convincing fashion, and I would definitely consider that the upset of the night. And let's move on to our last category. All right, and for the best series of the night, since there were so many, it's kind of tough to pick just one. So let's go on to Dan. What was your top series of the night?
Mine was actually the consolation match between Alicia and Snoot. As I said before, it was a fantastic match. It was actually the first match of the finals day on Sunday, and I mean it was a fantastic way to kick off that series. It was definitely I would say that's one of the best Heart of Swarm matches I've seen so far.
Yeah, it was definitely extremely impressive. And you have to understand the storyline behind it as well. I mean, Snoot, everybody kind of rooting for him. And then Alicia, a player that, used to be very, very good and now is just starting to come back up in the North American scene here. And the 3-2, it was just so close. It was such a close match, and Alicia just barely able to edge him out. And we will be looking at one of those games as Dan's top pick of the night. For me, the best series was Hero Revival, and I'm going to pick that one just because I do feel like the storyline was there and I felt like the matches were there. Some of the substance in them, maybe not the best, but Hero's comeback was really incredible to watch, and you could see the emotional roller coaster he was going through, and one of those games will be my top pick of the night as well. So let's move on to those. All right, Dan, let's start off with you. You were talking up the Alicia Snoot series. Now I really need to see a bit of what you were talking about once again. So start us off.
Yeah, so
set up the clip.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Alicia versus Snoot. This is game 3. It was a very long game on Whirlwind. It featured a lot of Nidus play, Alicia going with his trademark Void Ray play, and well, let's just show it to you.
Let's just go.
Is gonna go down. We have a double even, just in case the first Nidus network gets sniped and all the locusts won't be able to get away. This is a crazy amount of swarmers.
With no Colossi and no High Templar, so that'll help. That'll help. Alicia does have something of an AoE mechanism to work against all these locusts, but this is not going to be an easy hold for him to make. I really feel like
oh my god, we got it at 2 different positions as well. We got a double Nidus going up right now on the north side as well. This is going to be really annoying. Imagine locusts swarming in from 2 sides instead of 1.
And so that was basically where Snoot started his Nidus play, getting into Alicia's third base, and that continued on the entire game. Snoot completely took out Alicia's bottom bases. Alicia rebuilt up top, and in the meantime sent Void Rays to Snoots, and it was just mass chaos, destruction, fun, amazing back and forth game. And Snoot actually came up on top on that game, even though he ended up losing the series. But that is definitely my pick of the night.
That's honestly, it's a must watch. That's really the best way to put it. Is we could sit here and explain how great that game was, but that's one that you really need to just go ahead and watch. Now let's move on to my game here. It is going to be Hero versus Revival, game number 5. And this was Hero starting his comeback trail. And in game number 5, he decided to get risky, a little cheeky. and he went for Proxy Stargate, and he made 3 Oracles, I believe, trying to kind of catch Revival off guard, and it just did not work at all. It got completely denied, and Hero was playing from behind the entire game. Revival trying to break him, but Hero always having the perfect force fields, always having solid control, and was able to stay alive long enough to try and establish his 4th base, which is what he needed to continue on in the game. And where this clip starts off is Hero has just kind of secured his 4th base, and Revival is going to make one big attempt to break it once and for all.
Use the top side of the map. He's going to try to be aggressive towards his 3rd base. Let's see how Hero reacts to this.
Hero's observer sees Revival's army is small. He's going to push over this pass. Says, you know what, I can engage part of your army at a time. Revival motioning aggressively. Hero not sure where the rest of the forces are. Now he knows they're at the top. He has to go to defend that. But he may be stuck in a sandwich.
Corrupt is coming forward. Such a tactical game here. Revival coming in from the north, coming in from the bottom, going for a cost-efficient game. Corrupt is going to try to target down these Colossi. The Stalkers desperately trying to fend them off. Great force fields here from Hero, and Hero's going to last.
Revival has to back away. Corruptors all being taken out. Yet again, 10 more Corruptors in production for Revival. Hero, that 4th is completely stabilized, adding more cannons, and he's got to be feeling confident now that he has a very strong army and a decent economy behind it.
10 more Corruptors in production.
So the hold at the 4th was just, again, just more of that immaculate control from Hero. And once he did that, he was able to push that goal base, clean it up, and from there Revival couldn't get out his Broodlord tech, which we was trying to get to, but just didn't quite have enough there. So Hero, once he won that game, he had full momentum, ended up closing it out no problem with a great hold on Whirlwind. And yeah, it was just an awesome series, and that was probably, I would say, the most entertaining game, just to see Hero come back throughout the course of that long macro style. So
yeah, and then definitely congratulations to Hero, and we look forward to having him represent America, even though he's a Korean in Korea.
America.
And best of luck to all the players that advanced today to go on to play in Korea.
Yep. So that is going to do it today for WCS Blitz. Shout out to ESFI. We are moved to their channel, guys, so please show them all the love and support you can. Twitter, Facebook, they're all there, and of course ESFIworld.com. That is going to do it for us today. My name is Chris Messer. Co-host Daniel T.
Yeah, I'm Daniel.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let you do that.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
And we will see you next time. Take care.